Want your podcast to be as popular as Steven's Diary of a CEO? Here's one of his biggest secrets to success that you can emulate. He breaks the rules. The Diary of a CEO podcast has signed deals with 9 major airlines. It was the first ever podcast to stream inside prison cells and the first independent podcast to stream on BBC iPlayer. He's not just relying on the traditional form of distribution. He's thinking outside of the box of how to get the podcast out there. So how can you do the same without the budget? If you've got a fitness podcast, could you go speak to the local gyms and ask them to play your podcast on the TV whilst members are training in the gym? Could you stand in the center of town with an enormous QR code directing people to your podcast? If you've got a children's podcast or a teenage podcast, could you go to local schools and nurseries and ask them to play during social studies or during the kids' downtime? These are all really practical ideas to get your podcast out there, but not in the traditional way. And if you want to start emulating Steven's success, you have to start thinking outside of the box.